Hello guys, welcome back to another video of mine. Now this is your review of Chelsea 4, Slavia Prague 3 in the Europa League quarterfinal second leg yesterday. We never make things easy, do we? We really don't. That was possibly the best description of football you're going to get. It was literally a game of two halves. First half we were really good, dominated the game, took our chances. First time ever I think that's happened this season, or first time in a long while. And just completely outplayed Slavia Prague and very comfortable. We looked as if it could be 6 or 7. Then the second half we were absolutely atrocious and Slavia Prague were better than us, and it was just a complete swap around of what happened in the first half, and I just couldn't believe it. It was a game of two halves in the best description of a game of two halves you will ever see. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I'm really split down the middle with this because there's positives you can take from this, and there's negatives that you can take from this. The positives are obviously that we're through. We're into the semi-final now, which is good. And we won the game, so there's two positives from that. Negatives was that second half was a joke. I was scared watching it, and it was embarrassing. To lose the second half 2-0 at home to Slavia Prague, no disrespect, but we are a bigger and better club than Slavia Prague, so that's a bit of a negative. So it was very hit and miss, that game, but I suppose the most important thing was that we won. We're into the semi-final, and we're a step closer to potentially winning the trophy. But if we play like that against Eintracht Frankfurt, particularly if we play the way we did in the second half of yesterday's game, we're not going to get to the final. It's as simple as that. This is a problem. This is a common problem that's been happening a lot recently that needs to be eradicated, or this season will fall apart. We always start the second half terribly. We always concede within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the second half in at least our last couple of games. Liverpool, we conceded 2 goals in 2 minutes within the first 10 minutes of the second half, and yesterday we conceded twice within the first 10 minutes of the second half. Now, I don't know where this problem comes from. I don't know whether the players just come out with this attitude as if they just expect to play as well as they did in the first half, or the manager just says absolutely nothing in the changing room and just goes, yeah, do what you want. We did all right in the first half. We'll just do the same as we did in the second half. We'll be fine. That is a terrible attitude, whether it's the player's attitude or the manager's attitude or a collection of both. It's ridiculous. The manager needs to say stuff at halftime. The captain needs to voice or to make his voice heard in the dressing room and tell the players that you need to either keep playing the way you're playing and not just leave it and say nothing, because if you say nothing, the players just go out with this attitude and go, oh, we got away with that one, we'll just do what we did, and then you go out with a poor attitude. Either the manager or the captain needs to speak up in the change room at halftime and say what needs to be said, and then make sure the players go out with an attitude where, you know, the first 10 minutes of the second half, first 15 minutes of any second half, unless you're winning 5 or 6-0, is crucial. Because that's where a game, in my opinion, is won and lost. Luckily enough, yesterday, we played really well in the first half where we could kind of allow a bit of slacking off. But it doesn't excuse how poor we were in that second half. It was a joke. And as I said, a team better than Slavia Prague, with more quality up front and a team that are a bit more solid at the back, would have punished us yesterday. If that was Eintracht Frankfurt, I reckon we would have lost that game. Or any other team, any team better than Slavia Prague, we would have been punished. We need to eradicate this absolute joke attitude that we have at the start of every second half, because we will get caught out eventually. We got caught out against Liverpool, and as I said, a better team than Slavia Prague would have punished us, so that's something that needs to be addressed. But getting into the starting 11 yesterday, it was kind of something similar to what I expected. It was Kepa at goal, back four of Azpilicueta, Christensen, Luiz, Emerson, midfield three of Barkley, was it Barkley? Yeah, Barkley, Kovacic and Kante, and then a front three of Hazard, Giroud and Pedro. Now, we started the game off really, really well. First 10 minutes we were 2-0 up. We were very fortunate. The first goal, I'm trying to remember, the first goal we went 1-0 up. Oh yeah, it was a lovely goal. Brilliant football between Azpilicueta, Pedro, Giroud. Azpilicueta flicked it back to Pedro. Pedro played it into Giroud. Giroud played a lovely ball into Pedro. Giroud played a lovely ball into Pedro, and then Pedro dinked over the keeper and it was in. The second goal was very, very fortunate. Pedro had a miss of the season. I couldn't believe he missed. He was so lucky that it bounced off their defender and went in. Brilliant ball from Hazard, played it right across the face of goal. All Pedro had to do was tap it in. He completely hits his shot, comes off the post, but it bounces up off the post, hits the Slavia Prague defender on the head, and goes into the net, 2-0. Then we went 3-0 up. Giroud, another good goal. Pedro unselfishly played it right across face of goal to Giroud for a tap in. That was 3-0. And I was thinking this is a very, very good first, 20 minutes? Something like that. 3-0 up. Then absolutely abysmal marking for their first goal. You had the freedom of Stamford Bridge to just head it into the far corner, 3-1, and I was thinking, as a pain in the hole, stupid goal. We concede so many stupid goals, it's ridiculous. But then we went 4-1 up. Pedro again, he scuffed his shot completely. Thankfully it fell over the line. That was 4-1, and then it was half time. We were in cruise control. I think we were. Slavia Prague got it back to 3-1 for I think about 60 seconds. So we went 4-1 up at half time, and then as I said, we just came out in the second half as if we were still in the dressing room. They scored two. The first goal, Kepa should have done so much better for that goal. Goalkeepers should never be beaten at their near post. That's where you think they have most of it covered, so you should really be saving a near post shot. In fairness, there was a good bit of power on the strike, but he shouldn't be beaten from that far out with that much time to think about the shot and get across to it quick enough. Should be doing better for that. That was 4-2, and then there's nothing I can say for the third goal. It was another great strike by the same player. Nothing you can do about that, and it was a painful watch, that second half. It really was. We couldn't get hold of the ball. We didn't create any chances, really. And it was just a matter of trying to compose ourselves, get a hold of the ball, pass it around, try and take the sting out of it. And fortunately enough, we saw the game through and managed to get our place in the semi-final. 4-3 on the night, 5-3 on aggregate. And we're into the semi-final where we will play Eintracht Frankfurt, who beat Benfica 2-0 yesterday and won on away goals. That wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting us to play Benfica, but it doesn't mean Eintracht Frankfurt's going to be an easy game. As I said, if we play like we did in the second half yesterday against Eintracht Frankfurt, they will punish us because they're a lot better than Slavia Prague, in my opinion. They're fourth in the Bundesliga. They have Luka Jovic up front, one of the top scorers in Europe, not just the Bundesliga, and obviously they beat Benfica last night, so they're a good outfit. They're in the semi-final for a reason, so we have to put in a good performance. But I'll talk about Eintracht Frankfurt when that game comes around. But overall, sum up the game: great first half, atrocious second half, and thankfully we're through. That's all I have to say for this game, really. We were very lucky that we managed to get the job done in the first half, and just thankfully we managed to just about see out the second half and get into the semi-final. But yeah, I don't know. It's really frustrating to watch because you see how well we can play like we did in the first half, and then you saw the two sides of Chelsea tonight. You saw the Chelsea in the first half that we would like to see most weeks, taking the game to the opposition, taking their chances, being clinical, and then you saw the other side of Chelsea that we've seen more often, or too much. I can't speak. We saw the Chelsea in the second half that we've probably seen a little bit too much of this season, which needs to be stopped, because we do that in the semi-final or potentially the final if we get there, and in the run-in for top four we won't get either top four or win the Europa League. So that's something that really needs to be addressed in the final weeks of the season if we want to come out of this season saying that it was a success. But all I have to say really is we're through. That's all that matters. And, you know, we're a step closer to hopefully getting Champions League football and winning a trophy, which is what we should be doing nearly every season. So that's something. And now we have Burnley on Monday, which is a game we should be winning. I think Burnley are safe in the Premier League, so they've nothing to really play for. So it's a game that we need to win. With Tottenham playing Man City at the weekend, I'd expect them to drop points after watching that incredible game between the two of them in the Champions League during the week. Man City will want revenge, and I hope Man City win, not only to stop Liverpool winning the league, but for hopefully to make Tottenham drop points, and then we can somewhat try and close the gap on them. But what we have to do is focus on Burnley, and speaking about that game, I'll have a preview for that game out on Sunday. I'll get the preview for that game out on Sunday and talk about that in a bit more detail than I am now. But that's all I have to say for this video, guys. It was really frustrating watching that second half. The first half was good, and the main thing is we're in the semi-final, and that's all that matters. That's all we wanted at the start of the game. So bring on Eintracht Frankfurt when that tie comes around. But as I said, that's all I have to say for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please drop it a like. I'm not going to do player ratings for this, because I just wanted to talk about the game a little bit more and how frustrating a watch that second half was. But there will be player ratings in the reviews for the rest of the season, so don't be thinking that I'm not going to do them anymore, because I will. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop it a like, subscribe if you are new around here, or you enjoy the content, and I will see you guys for the preview for the Burnley game, which I will have out on Sunday. So see you then, and take care.